This Eurofar review is going to look at how this little card game from 1992 became this 2013 title. Landlord is a light-hearted economic card game with lots of take-that elements and a humorous theme. The basic idea of the game is that you have a hand of cards, so you'll have a hand of cards like this, but they're dual use. You can either use them as an action or as a tenant, so play them this way around, or you can play the back of them to build buildings, like we can see here, and then the other cards, the tenants, like this, can be placed into your buildings and they'll pay you rent. And that's the basis of the game. However, there's different types of tenants and they'll pay different amounts. Here we have a student. Students like to live with other students and they'll pay more if they do. The family pays a lot, but he takes up 2 floors in the house and also means that you can't do illegal activities. And illegal activities really are the real core of this game, because we have opportunities to murder tenants. We have opportunities to bomb buildings and evict other players' tenants, and so on and so forth. We also can play the police and maybe send players to jail, and therefore we also need alibis. We can demolish buildings. We can force tenants to withhold their rent. So there really is quite a lot of mean gameplay here, attacking each other. As the game goes on, the action cards are discarded from the game, while the tenants tend to be taken back into the deck. So the game gets friendlier as it goes on, but by now the snowball effect has really taken hold and the rich are getting richer, and so the game sort of runs away with you to a finish when you finish up the deck, and then we count up how much money we have at the end of the game. It's a good game, it's an entertaining game. It's been republished in a later version, which we'll come on to some 21 years later, with a few improvements. The artwork on this version is fantastic, although it's black and white. It's very amusing. It's always nice to play these anarchist squatters, which mean that no one in a building will pay any rent, or play a musician tenant, which means that if I play this on someone's house, then everyone else is going to move out because they don't like the noise. So this artwork is fantastic. But then the artwork in the new edition is fantastic too. So there's a bit of a choice to be made there. So that's Landlord. That's where it all started for Friedemann Friese. His first design, his first published design, published by Rio Grande Games in this edition. And it's a nice little card game. So here we are, having gone full circle after 21 years back with Landlord, 2013 re-release of this game with some new rules and lovely new components. Now, you'll remember I said how much I liked the artwork in the original. Well, the artwork in this one is absolutely fantastic. Lovely, colourful artwork, nice long cards. Again, they're dual use. So we've got the building on the back. Now, in this version of the game, the roofs are separate from the rest of the deck, so we don't clog our hand up with roofs. Again, we have a jail card, and now we have a separate monster deck, which works with one of the particular tenants, which is the scientist tenant. The scientist will only live in the roof, so if we put in a roof expansion, we can put a scientist in there, and then on subsequent turns, he's going to create monsters that are going to fill up spaces and pay us rent. But it's not all new tenants. We've got all the old classics, families, we've got squatters that'll move in and cause other people to move out. We've got the old hackers who are the students from the original game. We can build basements, and we can get up to all the old hijinks of bombing buildings. We can demolish buildings. We can murder tenants, but then they might call the police on us. It's all the same old stuff. Instead of the paper money, we've now got this nice, these chips, which are quite nice, 1, 3s, 10s and 50s. And the gameplay is a little streamlined. It's still got a massive snowball effect. If you get ahead, you just run away with it and steam through this deck. But in this version of the game, there's a lot more of that stack management in there, as more and more cards, these action cards, the nasty ones, the murders and the bombs and what have you, when they're used, they get discarded from the game, whereas the tenants, when they're murdered, they will tend to get buried under the deck, and so they come back into it. So towards the end of the game, there's more tenants, more constructive play. The game plays quick if a player really gets going with it, but it can drag if players take their time over their turns and keep taking money rather than cards, and ultimately it's money that wins you the game. So it really is variable in sort of playing time and depending on the players. It's not a balanced game. There's a lot of luck in it. It's very thematic, and it does feel like an improvement to the original game, but whether you like the new artwork or the old artwork is one sort of factor to look at. Although that said, getting a hold of the old copy, I guess, is going to be difficult, where getting a hold of this is going to be quite easy at the moment. So this is a good game. I'm glad he's revisited it. As I say, it gives loads of hope for him revisiting a lot of his old games, as he has done over the last few years. So hopefully we'll be able to see some old classic titles over coming years.